Okay, so the first thing I do is I get my epoxy. This is for the Storyboard tumbler. So I get my epoxy, and let me see if I can get in camera view. This is my epoxy. I have it in this cup. I'm just gonna mix it up, okay? So we're just mixing the epoxy for now. The epoxy that I use is the art resin epoxy, okay? So with the way I'm doing it, this cup, I'm just gonna mix up my epoxy until it's clear, no bubbles, everything looks nice and smooth. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is once that's mixed good, I'm gonna now take this color pigment, and with the color pigment, I got this at Hobby Lobby down the paint aisle. Okay, so with the color pigment, I'm just gonna take a couple of drops and drop it in here. And I'm gonna do about 8 squirts of it to start, just to see how the saturation, how the color looks. And this is just white, okay? And this is just gonna be my base coat for my colors to show really well. And let me see if I get this in view here for you. So you see the color is there, okay? And I think that's really good saturation there. So we can put that up. Okay, move it out the way. Okay. And I'm gonna continue mixing. While I'm mixing, I'm gonna talk a little bit. The main, I'm gonna show you the 3 colors of acrylic paint. Now this is acrylic paint that you'll need. These are the 3 colors that I'm using here. This one is called Shoreline. This one is called Calypso Blue. And this one is Ultramarine Blue. All right, so now I'm back. I have it, let me see if I can get you here. I have it mixed really nicely, okay? And this is just that mixture, and I put over into the epoxy, okay? So now what we're gonna do is, let me cut my cup turner on. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I have my cup turner going, and so I have everything mixed in really well. All right, and now what I'm gonna start doing is pouring this onto the cup, okay, and just smooth it down, okay? Pour, smooth it out, okay? And I'm just going to cover the whole cup, the inner cup of that Storyboard tumbler onto this. And so we're gonna cover the whole layer this way. I used to spray paint my cups. I still do sometimes, but I just like this method because it gives that base coat a nice color. So I've kind of gotten away from spray painting. I still do a little bit, the cups for the base coats. It just depends on what type of cup I'm working on, okay? What all I'm gonna put on it, and everything like that, okay? All right, so continue doing that and just till we get it nice and covered. Nice thin layer, nice smooth layer. Okay. And just gonna keep going. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, just gonna keep going. You see it's gonna level out because it's on this turner. And we're just gonna keep covering it until we get all the silver covered up, okay? Alrighty. So we want it all the way up to the top. Okay, we have it taped off with that painter's tape. So if we get a little up there, it's okay, because that's gonna come off. Okay. And I do this method because I like it this way versus the spray paint, because this gives it a nice finish look to it. I don't have to go outside. It's hot. I live in Georgia. It's hot. So I don't have to go outside and spray paint. I can do it all here inside, okay? And this gives it a nice even coat. And you can do this with any color. I think that pigment also comes in black as well. And then I can show you, I'm gonna also show you some other things that you could do if you don't want to spray paint to give you your base coat color. And with this method, I let it dry for, I let it turn for about 5 to 6 hours like this before I go to my next step, okay? And this is just gonna give me a nice base color coat. Let's put a little bit more here. Okay, I think it looks good. Let's put a little bit right there, and then we're just gonna smooth it out. And then, as you can see, sometimes you'll get these little pocket bubbles, and I'll show you how to get rid of those, okay? All right, we're just smoothing, making sure we have the saturation we want. And again, because I'm putting those acrylic paint colors on the top, it doesn't have to have a deep color saturation. You can put more drops in your epoxy mix if you want more color to it. But for me, just a light white kind of coat is perfect. Because again, I'm gonna go in with those blues, and I do this just so those blues can really pop, okay? Give it that white base coat, okay? All right. Let's see. I think we have enough on there now. So that looks good. I'm gonna take my glove off with this hand. 1 second, let me put this in the trash. Okay. And now I have a heat gun. So you see I have like those little bubbles. I'm just gonna kind of go across it with the heat gun. And that's gonna blow those bubbles away, okay? And give it that kind of melting. Get rid of those air bubbles. So there we go. That's all it took, a little heat. Let's see if we have any more. Okay. And that's gonna get rid of the bubbles. So we let that go and turn for about 5 to 6 hours, like that. And that's the first step, okay? See you shortly. Okay, so let me tell you what all you need for this cup. I didn't do that on the first part. So here, you'll need your colors of blue. So this blue is Calypso blue, acrylic paint, ultramarine blue, which is the darkest blue, and then shoreline is what this one is called. So you'll need those, okay, for your blue. You'll also need some cups for your different colors. Turn it like this so you can see. Some cups for your different colors. Some star sticks to stir your epoxy colors with. You'll also need your epoxy. I'm using art resin. Of course, your Storyboard tumbler. And then I'm gonna use this silicone glue to seal everything once we're completed. And also your pigment color for your base coat, which is on the cup, which we did in the first part. And I think that's everything, okay? Okay, so you have your base coat of white on your inner cup layer, right? So now on this cup here, in this cup here, I'm just mixing the epoxy, I'm gonna keep mixing until I get it stirred very nicely and mixed well. Everything is integrated. It's clear, nice and clear, not cloudy, no bubbles, very few bubbles, if any, mixed into this here. And so right now, altogether, I put 15 milliliters of the art resin hardener, and then 15 milliliters of the resin itself. And that's what I'm mixing in this cup, okay? And I'm just gonna continue mixing until it gets stirred well, okay? All right, so now that I'm almost done stirring, I'm gonna get my other 2 cups, okay? And since I have 30 milliliters, that's a lot of resin, and I'm gonna work on another cup. After this, I'm gonna separate these, okay? So see, I have 2 cups here, and then this cup I'll keep for my other, but I'm gonna pour some in another cup. Okay. For this, you really don't need a full 30 milliliters. I'm just gonna work on another project after this, so I did 30, but you could get away with 10 and 10 milliliters, which would give you the 20 milliliters you need. And then I'm just stirring, just making sure when I stir it's clear. See how it's, I don't know if you can see, let's see how it drips kind of clear. You want it really clear, not cloudy in color. That's how you know it's mixed well, okay? All right, so now that it's all mixed, I'm going to take my other 2, I'm gonna take 3 cups, and I'm going to pour some in each cup, okay? Just so I can have some for each color, okay? And again, we're just doing splashes over it, so you don't necessarily need a lot, okay? And then I'm gonna save this little bit I have left here for my next project that I'm gonna work on, okay? All right, so now let's take this stir stick out of this one, put it here, and then you wanna get your a stir stick for each color. So one here in this one, and then one in this one also, okay? All right, so you have your 3 star sticks, okay? So let's start with the lightest color first, which is our shoreline, okay? And into the epoxy cup itself, I'm just gonna put a drop, 2 drops, 3 drops, okay? 3 drops. And then I'm gonna stir it, mix it well. Okay, and you see it's still got that same consistency. You just wanted to give it that color. Can you see the color? Let's see if I get a little. All right, it's mixed well, okay? 3 drops into that epoxy, okay? It's our lightest color. Now we're gonna go to the next darkest color, which is our Calypso blue color. Okay, and then I'm going to 3 drops of that also. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's a few drops of that one. Okay, and stir. Okay, now we're stirring that up. All right, good consistency. You don't want it to be too thick because you still want to have that epoxy kind of consistency. You don't want it to be as thick as like if you were painting, okay? Just to give it color, that's all we want, okay? And now we're gonna go, move these colors out of the way. Now we're gonna go to our darkest blue, which is ultramarine blue. That's what I'm using. 1, 2, 3. All right. And then you see here how it looks in there. It's just the droplets. And then we're going to stir it. Okay. And this darker blue is going to be for our sky kind of color. All right. So that's that.